Hello, my friends, and welcome to Youth Potential, a channel dedicated to helping young people with mental health problems. I have two books available, 102 Distraction Techniques and Self-Harm to Self-Harmony. Both of these books are only available on Amazon. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hello, my friend Scott here representing Youth Potential. First of all, guys, thank you very much for voting on this video. I received over 150 votes in less than 24 hours for this video, and this video got over 60% of the votes, which means, yeah, let's do it. So why is self-harm so addictive? Well, the addiction of self-harm, believe it or not, is actually a really simple science. And I've managed to break it down into about 3 parts, and this is all through personal experience and research, and I've always been interested in like psychology and that kind of thing, so I've kind of tried to put it all together to make just like a simple 3-part explanation basically. So the first part is why people self-harm in the first place. So before it's even a habit, someone will self-harm because basically they would rather turn their mental pain, that stress, that depression, that anxiety or whatever it is, into physical pain. Because physical pain, for some people, it's just easier to deal with. Having it all that tension up here, or that misery, or whatever it is, those unpleasant thoughts, you'd rather not deal with that. You just don't feel like you can control it, whereas physical pain, you kind of feel like you're in control. So you're literally just turning that mental pain into physical pain. That's something that you can control. So an individual will experience that, they will do it, and yeah, well, that's basically the first part. So the second part is that the pursuit and carrying out of self-harm releases 2 brain chemicals. The first one is dopamine, and the second one, so what's that? The second one is endorphins. So endorphins basically is a brain chemical that is released in response to physical pain. It doesn't actually get rid of the physical pain, it just kind of masks it basically. So you're getting in your endorphins that way. Dopamine, whatever number I said it was, dopamine is actually a brain chemical that's released as kind of like a motivating and reward system. So you think about self-harm, you get a bit of dopamine. You go to prepare yourself for self-harm, you get a little bit more of dopamine, and then you carry out the self-harm, and then you get even more dopamine, and you obviously get the endorphins simultaneously at this point. And that feeling is just, it feels pleasurable. I mean, obviously self-harm itself is not pleasuring, but that on a biological level, getting those endorphins and that dopamine is pleasurable, and that's why it's so easy to be drawn into it, why it's easy to be addicted to it. Dopamine is a very addictive brain chemical. It's also the same brain chemical that's released when someone has a drug addiction as well. You know, you just want to keep getting that dopamine fix. And obviously when you're self-harming, you get used to that endorphin fix as well. You just want to keep doing it over and over and over. Let me just change the page of my notes here. So, part number 3, and I'm going to draw this out. I've got my whiteboard. I tried to get a black pen, but I couldn't find one, so I'm going to have to make do with a red pen, and I really hope that I can get this all in the shot here. So, part number 3. On a psychological level, self-harm or addiction is basically a habit. So this is known as the stick man figure. It's in the world of psychology. It's used to to make a diagram of the conscious mind. That's meant to be a C. Hopefully that comes out as a C and not a G. And that is the subconscious mind. And you could probably gather this is the body. I'm sorry, I've got a really dodgy pen here, but hopefully this is coming out okay. So, habit begins through conscious thinking. So, you're thinking about the idea of self-harm because something's triggered you, or you're feeling low, whether it's the first time you self-harmed or whether it's the second time or whatever. You're thinking about self-harm, okay? And then through conscious thinking, you carry out the self-harm. You're getting your dopamine and your endorphin fix. And then you do this again a second time, you do it a third time, you do it a fourth time, and over a period of time, it becomes a habit. Because you've been consciously thinking about it, you've been carrying it out. So through the body, you're going back here. So conscious thinking, you're carrying it out afterwards, you're thinking about the self-harm, you're engaging in self-harm, and then another time comes along in your life where you feel like self-harm, you're thinking about it, you're carrying it out, and eventually, this conscious thought and the repetition of that thought and the repetition of the action of self-harm, that very thing goes into the subconscious mind. And when it's in the subconscious mind, that's when it's a habit. You could apply the same thing to learning to ride a bike. You consciously think about trying to ride a bike. You physically engage in trying to ride a bike. You keep doing this over and over and over again until eventually you just learn how to ride a bike. It's become habit. And that's because that thought and that action is right here in the subconscious mind. And then from then on, subconsciously, you're just riding a bike. You just get on a bike, you start riding. You're not even thinking about it. You just put your backside on the seat and your feet on the pedals and you just go. There's no conscious effort required. You're not thinking about it up here. You're just doing it. And that's basically what happens on a psychological level when self-harm becomes an addiction or a habit. So, just to kind of summarise that for you guys, because I know that psychology kind of nonsense can be a little bit overwhelming. So you consciously think about self-harming, you carry it out, and in that pursuit of that self-harm and that actual engaging in self-harm, you're getting your endorphin fix, you're getting your dopamine fix. Feels good. And then the next time you get triggered or feel low or whatever, you think about doing it again. You get that dopamine, you carry it out, you get that dopamine again, and you get your endorphins. And you just keep repeating this process over and over and over, because that feeling that you get from the endorphins, that dopamine, it becomes such a pleasant feeling. It's better than all that mental tension that you've got going on up here. That just becomes unbearable. And you repeat this process so many times, it becomes a habit. That thought and that action becomes locked within you in your subconscious mind. And once it's in there, it's a habit, it's an addiction, and it's really hard to break that cycle. If you're a smoker, you may know that it is hard to give up smoking. It really is. It's really hard. It becomes second nature. It's no different with self-harm. The feeling that you get from self-harm becomes such a go-to thing. It's such a habit. Getting out of a habit is difficult. It doesn't matter what kind of habit it is. If you try to unlearn to ride a bike, it'd be nigh on impossible. You just can't, can you? It feels like that with self-harm, You just it's your automatic response under stress or mental pain or whatever. You just go to it. It's so easy. Because as soon as you go to that blade or those matches or punching a wall or whatever, you're going to get that endorphin rush. You're going to get that dopamine fix. And you're going to feel better about yourself. I mean, consciously you know that that's not the right thing to do, and that's not really fixing anything, is it? No, it's not. But you just can't help yourself because you automatically go to do it. That's what your subconscious mind is doing. Another example about the difference between conscious and subconscious is that we breathe subconsciously. We don't think about breathing, but as soon as you try to think about breathing, the pace of your breath, the depth of your breath is different as to when you're just subconsciously, automatically breathing. It's exactly the same with self-harm, Eventually you stop thinking about it consciously, you just automatically go and do it. And that is why it is so addictive. Okay guys, it was actually quite difficult to make this video. I had to do about 5 or 6 takes to do it, so I really hope that this really paid off and that you guys learned something from this. So yeah, anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. All the best. I'd love to hear your thoughts and if you've got any questions, leave in the comments section below. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.